Even before the full-scale invasion of Russia, Ukraine had proved it is on the right track. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said during the announcement of the new status and EU candidate status for Ukraine in the summer of 2022. Over the past few years, Kyiv has become closer to European integration than in previous decades. Thanks to the association agreement with the EU of 2016, Ukraine has implemented more than 80% of the rules, norms, standards of the European Union, and the work continues no matter what.
Yes, Ukraine deserves European perspective. Yes, Ukraine should be welcomed as a candidate country. This is on the understanding that good work has been done, but important work also remains to be done. The entire process is merits-based. So it goes by the book, and therefore progress depends entirely on Ukraine. It is Ukraine that has it in their hands, and what could be better to shape your own future.
Ukraine received the status conditionally in advance. This is the first time in the history of the EU, the so-called hybrid solution. After all, the status was given along with 7 recommendations of the European Commission, which Kyiv must fulfill in order not to lose its candidacy. Among them are the reform of the Constitutional Court, the continuation of judicial reform, the fight against corruption and money laundering, the implementation of the anti-oligarchic law, and the change in legislation on national minorities. The European Commission did not even write down detailed claims for individual requirements, such as the fight with money laundering. Despite all this, the Ukrainian president recently announced that all European integration conditions would finally be fulfilled in the coming months.
We have 7 demands, and I will tell you that despite the war, we have fulfilled many of these 7 demands. We have completed them, and we have started to do so with the others, and we will finish all this in the coming weeks or months. We are moving fast. The war itself is urging us on.
The Ukraine-EU summit will be held in Kyiv on February the 3rd. European Union Ambassador to Ukraine, Mati Marsikas, has announced a discussion of the military situation, the formula for peace of President Volodymyr Zelensky, and further necessary support for Ukraine. Brussels has planned to discuss the progress of reforming Ukraine in accordance with the recommendations of the European Commission. Kyiv quickly fulfills the requirements, the Minister for European and Euro-Atlantic Integration says, and there are reasons for that. Since receiving the candidacy, the team has been working to ensure proper coordination of European integration so that we discuss the most important political issues precisely at the summit. This is the implementation of the 7 recommendations of the European Commission by Ukraine and the key decisions that we can make in 2023, realizing that 2024 is the year of elections to European institutions, which can narrow political opportunities. Olga Stefanishina, Deputy Prime Minister for European and Euro-Atlantic Integration of Ukraine. Ukraine plans to join the EU within the next 2 years, Prime Minister of Ukraine Minister Shmyhal told Politico. According to him, as early as 2023, an agreement on a visa-free regime for industrial goods, accession to the SEPA payment system, Single Euro Payments Area, and the inclusion of Ukraine in the EU mobile roaming zone can be signed.
We want to form a detailed roadmap that will give us the maximum understanding of how to successfully make the European integration, way from assessing the work that we have done obtaining candidate status to the start of substantive negotiations on Ukraine's accession to the European Union. In particular, it is important for us to get long-term access for all Ukrainian goods to the EU markets without quotas and without fees. Minister Shmyhal, Prime Minister of Ukraine.
The European Union is united more than ever, and the connection between member countries is stronger than before, President of the European Council Charles Michel said from the rostrum of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. During his visit to Kyiv, he stressed that without a free Ukraine, there would be no free Europe.
I dream that soon a Ukrainian will either become the President of the Council of the European Union, or head of the European Commission, or the European Parliament. We know that you want the war of aggression to end. The Ukraine-EU summit will be held soon, and I hope we will be able to express our support for Ukraine and its movement into the European Union then.
Even in its current candidate status, Ukraine has many advantages. For example, it has access to EU financial assistance, which is intended for countries preparing for accession. It is provided by grants, investments and technical assistance. Moreover, Ukraine is waiting for the full adoption of joint EU legislation by the time of accession. The European Union no longer considers Kyiv as a grey zone between Europe and the aggressor country Russia. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Yulia Bezborodko, UATV News.